Beware, this episode is going to teach you the perfect number to aim for Cadence. And if you've ever heard those late night TV ads that try and sell you this pill will solve everything, guys, this number will solve everything. And I hope that if anything, it will help you improve your performance, decrease your risk of injury, give you a way to measure it yourself, and some fun ways to implement it with some tools that I've linked down below for you. And overall, I want you to have less injuries, to just tweak and change. You don't have to hit this perfect number, but that number is there. It's been researched. It's been proven that if we get to that number, everything falls into place. So let's dive on in and let's figure what the heck out I'm talking about. Welcome everyone to Run Girl Radio. I'm Holly Dickinson, founder of Excel Strength and Conditioning, where we coach and empower female runners just like you across the world, making you faster, more knowledgeable, and set for a lifetime of injury-free running. Each week, I will be bringing you impactful information, creative solutions, and juicy running tips to get you one stride closer to your highest running self. Knowing that when curious and strong women are equipped with on-topic information and innovative solutions, there is no stopping us. Consider me your personal running coach in your back pocket. So join me and get ready to bust down some barriers, laugh at some running real talk, and get excited and energized as we have some fun finding our way together through this wonderful world of running. What a week to be celebrating! Everybody, this is the first anniversary of Run Girl Radio, and we have a huge thank you to be saying because we are blown away by the reach and the support that we've been getting from my research assistant, Destiny, who's in her last year of kinesiology of the same program I did at college, providing her this opportunity to find research-based articles to support everything that we talk about on this podcast, to my co-op student, Richard, in his sport and fitness leadership degree, who is getting hands-on with how we can promote all of the works behind the scenes of Run Girl Radio, and then my team at Wizard Studios for helping us reach more people and put us on more platforms out there so that we can share this free information and education and provide women across the world just like you with more running tips and thoughts and inspiration and just excitement in general for fitness. And what's so exciting is we've been chosen and we've been featured on the Apple Podcast app in the UK in celebration of Women's History Month. Our podcast, you guys, this one that you're listening to right here, you'll see Run Girl Radio proudly showing in Stories of Strength and Hope and listed under Crushing It, the Crushing It segment. And could we be more proud? No. So here we are, first birthday, celebrating this big win for the podcast and hopefully finding and reaching more women just like you with this impactful information. So let's dive in. We are going to talk about Cadence today, which is huge. It's going to revolutionize the way you think about your running gait, your form, your race times even potentially, because this really is a game changer for a lot of runners, especially female beginner runners. Regardless of your level, you will be able to implement this by the end of the day. So we're going to go through kind of the backstory of what Cadence even is, because we probably heard of Cadence on a bike, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to figure out ways we can implement it and ways that you can basically be improving it right now. So let's dive in. So let's get squared away with what Cadence even means, because Cadence is a weird word, and if you've never used it, you've probably never used it. But you might know it from if you've ever done an indoor spin cycle class, or if you are an avid biker. Basically, Cadence, and actually, okay, this one right here, if you have watched the movie, I think it's I Am Pretty or I Feel Pretty, with Amy Schumer, she falls off of a SoulCycle spin bike in class and hits her head, and then instantly she actually believes how beautiful she is. Great movie, would watch it. But that's a little segue there. So cadence on a bike would be revolutions per minute, or RPM, so how many times your foot goes around. So if we transfer that to running, steps per minute is what we think of cadence-wise for running. So how many steps you touch down to the ground in a minute. Now you're all probably wondering, why the heck do I need to count the number of steps that I'm taking per minute? And how is this even going to help me? Yes, good question. Research has shown that there is an optimal cadence, and it improves your performance, decreases your risk of injury, and helps with the specificity of your training intensity. Okay, so now when we think about risk of injury, we are thinking of ground contact time. So how long your stance leg is, basically that's the one leg being on the ground before it comes toes off and the other foot hits the ground. So that lag time of that foot being on the ground really does make a huge impact on our form in general. And it's been proven that an increase in cadence results in alterations in our form and in our stride that reduce the impact absorbed by the hips and knees. So this is actually a huge deal, as many running injuries like shin splints, stress fractures at the tibia area in the front of our shin, and often like knee and hip aggravations are caused from our stride just being too long and our cadence being a bit too slow. So it's time for us to ramp it up. Now you all are probably thinking, okay, Holly, so I need to increase my cadence, somehow not gas myself in my runs, but still be able to do the same length of run that I'm going to do at a faster pace? Well, no. Running speed is the product of your running cadence or your stride frequency added to your stride length, okay? So that's when you would travel a further distance, is when both of those things increase. But we want to focus on just the cadence portion. So don't worry about taking big long strides. We're actually going to do the opposite. We're going to make those strides shorter and we're going to increase our cadence. So increase the number of steps that we're doing with good form. Now you'll hear me say time and time again, the path of least resistance is what we all follow, right? In our lives and in our training as well. We all gravitate to the exercises we love and we stay away from the ones that are really difficult, or we need kind of like a group or a trainer to tell us, hey, you need to do that. And oh my God, it's the same with our body. Our body literally has moved and ran since we were young in a pattern that no one's ever taught us. So we are having to like put the lens on it, have to look at it a little bit closer and figure out where our cadence is at right now and understand what our neuromuscular system has learned that we have to maybe unlearn, aka train, right? So if we can train our cadence, then we can be in a good footing and a good setup for our running. Now, what is the perfect cadence? What is the magic number, Holly? This is probably what you're asking me. So the average person runs approximately 160 to 200 steps per minute. Again, all varies. But the legendary Jack Daniels, no, not the drink, the run coach, he wrote Daniels' running formula, which shares a heap of valuable tips and tricks. But he observed in the 1984 Olympics that the best runners had the cadence of 180 steps per minute, minimum. Okay? Of course, if you can run faster and your lungs can keep up with it and your body can keep up with it, then yes, you're probably tipping on your ventilatory threshold. Anyway, too much information. 180 steps per minute is what the benchmark is for you to aim for. Now, this is a number that should be aimed at over time, so you shouldn't just switch into running this cadence tomorrow. It should be slowly graded up to. We should be testing what our cadence is right now, and every training session just increasing a few steps per minute till you get to your optimal speed and it feels comfortable. It's something you can play with in your training and that will bring more awareness to your form. Again, form over everything, you guys. I don't want this to be your goal, a static number. I want it to be more so that you feel empowered by your movement and by your stride. And if that means that you training at a newer, faster cadence has you thinking about your form and where your foot is contacting underneath you and how the rest of your body is following through with that pace, wicked. I don't want this to be, Holly, I wasn't able to make 180 SPM and I must be failing. No, none of that. So again, this is just what's been shown through the research. We can take from it that if we can increase our cadence and keep our stride length shorter, don't worry about having to sprint because that would be both increase in stride length and cadence. We're going for longer distance, so just increase the cadence. Don't worry about the stride length. Keep that under control. Will bring you more success in your running form. So right about now, you're probably thinking, yeah, I want to record my cadence. I want to know if I'm running optimally. So this is how you're going to do it. You are either one of two options, video recording option or a timing option. Video recording option is nice. It's hand-free. You don't have to count anything until the video is recorded. So you're going to set up your camera in front of you so that you're running towards the camera. start pretty far back so that you have enough time to run for about 10 seconds in front of the camera, plus some. You're going to run from a standstill until you feel like you get up to your pace that you could probably maintain for about half an hour to an hour if you were to run, okay? And you are going to clap as soon as you get to that pace. Once you get to that pace, then you're just going to run towards the camera and then stop. Now, when we're analyzing that video and how we can record how many steps per minute we'd be doing from it, you're going to crop the video up until the point where you clap, because that is your acceleration time. That's not going to be a very accurate footfall time. Once you're up to pace though, after you've clapped, you're going to count every time your right foot touches the ground until we get to a 10-second video count. Then you're going to times that by 2, so that's 2 feet are touching the floor for that 10 seconds. Then you're going to times that, use your calculator, by 6, okay? And that's going to give you how many steps per minute that you are doing for your running. Your other option is setting a phone timer or countdown for 20 seconds. And I would suggest you have it on your phone so you can quickly press start and then it will just vibrate when it's done and you can stop counting. But for 20 seconds, it will just give you a little bit more time to analyze. You're going to make sure you get up to speed, maintain that nice little pace that you could run for a long time at, whilst counting every time your right foot hits the ground until that vibration or the alarm sounds on your phone that 20 seconds has been counted down. You'll times that by 2 to account for the left foot as well. And then you will times that 20 seconds of footfall by 3 to get 60 seconds of steps per minute that you are currently at. Now you can implement trying to increase that pace if you're not currently at a 180, not pace, cadence. Pace is different. Pace is how much distance you cover in time. Okay, so with regards to our cadence, if it's quite a bit slower than that 180 steps per minute, you can slowly start to increase it by 5 or so steps every week to start training our form and our stride and decrease our risk of injury, but more so have you feeling like you can do way more with a lot less effort, okay? A lot less of a crazy long stride. Once you've tested out your cadence, a great way to implement this is before your runs, before you get out on any of your runs, you're going to use a metronome app and play 180 steps per minute and just practice, just play around with it. Slowly start to increase or decrease again. If you were way lower on that steps per minute, just increase it by 5. Between 5 and 10 is pretty safe to try. But you're going to practice some little accelerations that will get you into that steps per minute. You're going to try those fast feet on for size and see how it feels. But that's a really nice way to ingrain it into your training. Another great way is once you're up to your steps per minute or you're teasing into that next bracket, there are actually playlists that are curated to steps per minute. So you can Google them. If you use Spotify, you can search them on there. I'm sure there's a bunch on YouTube, but you can basically listen to music that has been adjusted to that faster pace. So the rhythm of the music is every time your foot falls, you're hitting the beat. And you'll love this if you're a dancer or you have any experience in the musical world, or you love instruments in general, because this will have you feeling like you're so in tune with your body and the music at the same time. Be forewarned though that they are not my favorite way to go about training our steps per minute, because the music sometimes can sound a little aerobicsy and it can be very high tempo, which is not really what I want to listen to when I'm running a 5K. Maybe you like to listen to podcasts like this when you're out running or walk running, but they're a nice way to kind of trial and test out the waters with your cadence. But if not, using that metronome app just for the first few accelerations when you start warming up can get you really into a nice rhythm, can have you kind of ingraining that beat in your head so that you know what you should be aiming for, and on the straight and narrow with your form. Woo! That was a lot of information. I hope it has kind of synced in. Maybe you're like, ooh, I'm really curious of what my steps per minute are. Please let me know what your steps per minute are if you do test them out. And let me know that you're working on your stride. I want to know you guys. I want to know who's behind listening to this podcast. So please reach out to me. I want a personal message from you at Excel Strength Conditioning. Follow me on Instagram. send me a little DM. I would love to know what you're working on right now, what you're struggling with, so I can give you more information through this podcast on how to improve your running and your performance in general. I am here for all of you. Thank you for supporting me, and I can't wait to teach you more next week on Run Grow Radio.